we've got a very important question to ask, and we think you're going to have strong opinions. Should we keep the song or should we cut it?
Yeah, so we've given out the survey, and us two thought we were big rock stars singing along. Turns out, we thought we were good. Turns out a few of you guys don't like it. So
So as a reminder, we're doing the contest to win all the books, and one of the things is a survey. So about half the people have said the song's great, and half the people have said the song sucks. Get rid of it.
Yeah, so if it hits critical mass, then we're going to get rid of it. We're going to can it, and then
we'll do
call a ceremony.
Yeah.
I don't know, mate.
Who knows? But yeah, so if you want to say keep the song or cut the song, and at the same time, if you want to be in the chance to win all 48 books from this season, head to whatyouwilllearn.com/survey. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, nice.
Welcome back to What You Will Learn. My name is Adam Ashton.
My name is Adam Jones. Today we are reviewing a book by Reid Hoffman and Kasnocha, The Startup of You.
No, I don't know how much Ben Kasnocha played. He probably wrote it. But yeah, Reid Hoffman's the main man. Reid Hoffman, he was originally PayPal, and then he co-founded LinkedIn, and now he's like just a VC investor. And does my favourite podcast, Masters of Scale.
Yeah.
Free plug.
So on the surface, it probably looks like a book about business, but it's not at all. It is, for me, it is by far the best book on career advice and career planning, I think, that you'll ever read. And that's saying a lot, I think. Yeah,
that's what we sort of said, that we've done a whole lot of business books and stuff, but what about for people who aren't in business? This is your Bible for career. I think the subtitle, Adapt to the Future, Invest in Yourself and Transform Your Career.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just for people in careers, it's just the way to look at, and career I guess could mean being an employee or being in business as well, but it's just a way of looking at yourself and I guess the work you do throughout your whole life and one way of approaching it. Yeah,
basically, and I think it sort of ties into a lot of what Seth Godin says, in that most people think that the way to move up is to, go to work, do the normal stuff, don't get in trouble, keep your head down, play it safe, and eventually in one day you might take your boss's spot.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later move up. But this is sort of like actually taking some action.
Yeah, it's all about action. So we'll get into it. Chapter 1 is all humans are entrepreneurs. So he says when we were in a cave, we were all basically self-employed. So we had to go out and find our own food and feed ourselves. And that's where humanity began. But then as our civilization came, it kind of suppressed it. So we became labour because they stamped us, you're labour, and we somewhere along the way we forgot that we were actually entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and so it says that basically being an entrepreneur is just a will to create something different. So you need to treat your job as though you're an entrepreneur treating a startup. Yeah.
Mate, have you noticed the birds have been chirping quite heavily?
Yeah, I think it's just the timing. Early morning.
Nice early morning, and it's a nice day out there. It's a bit chilly in Melbourne at the moment. But anyway, he says the old way of looking at things was, and he uses an escalator analogy. So for 60 years ago, after you graduated from college, you could go to like a big company like Goldman Sachs or General Electric. You could be groomed and mentored and trained, and all this professional development from your organisation you'll get. And as you went up the hierarchy, you made way for new people to graduate. And as long as you played nice and well, you would keep going up this ladder, and then you get some prestige, more money, job security. And then when you're 65, you step off this escalator into retirement, and you'll cash in on your retirement and then financed by your company pension and by the government as well.
Yeah, and basically that escalator keeps going up, and when people get off at the top, everyone moves up a step, and then the new graduates come in at the bottom.
Yeah.
But
so it's not really like that. So what it's like now, the new reality and the actual reality, the government safety net looks like Swiss cheese. Men and women are working into their 60s and 70s. He says, today it is hard for the young to get on the escalator, hard for the middle-aged to ascend on the escalator, and hard for the old guy to get off the escalator.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, that top level of the older people, they're working longer, so they're not getting off the escalator. So the middle-aged people can't move up to the top rung, and it doesn't leave any space for the new, younger people to get on. So the escalator's broken, basically.
Yeah. So with the death of the traditional career path, and this is what the whole book's about, and which I really like, so it also is the death of professional development that you can counter on from your employer. So it's now it's all your job now to train yourself and develop yourself. And if technology doesn't eliminate or change the skill you need, then, I guess if technology doesn't do it, then it can be outsourced, your job. So it's always up to you to be constantly developing yourself to stay relevant and current.
Yeah, and he calls that constant development permanent beta. So beta is like if you're testing new software, it's in beta mode before you say this is done. Like, so by being in beta mode, you're saying that this is not, it's a work in progress. We're still fixing it up. So he says you need to always be in beta mode, always thinking, how can you improve? How can you fix this up? So he basically says you need to think of yourself as an entrepreneur at the helm of your career, expand your network, get that competitive edge, and don't get too comfortable. Because he says once you get too comfortable, then you're unwilling to exploit opportunities that contain risk, and you're unable to adapt to this relentless change that we're seeing.
Yeah, well said, man. So it's just, we're always a work in progress, and you need a lifetime commitment to personal growth. And in the past, we'll be ready, aim, fire. His way of looking at it is aim, fire, aim, fire, aim, fire, aim, fire.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's always constantly just going out and growing.
Yeah, nice.
The next section was developing a competitive advantage. He says we are in the business of selling also, so selling your brain power, skills and energy. So, and this is, I guess, definitely what Seth Godin covers in Purple Cow, but hiring managers are quickly overcome by the sameness of thousands of employees, and it's always just a huge blur. So right now you got to do something that stands out to be found. Yeah,
and he says that basically for everything that's worth being found for, there's competition. So you're saying don't try to beat everyone at everything. Pick your area that you're going to excel at, and that's where you want to make your competitive advantage. And he talks about the three puzzle pieces. Is that what you're going to next?
Yep.
So the three puzzle pieces, we've got our assets, which are both soft and hard. We've got our aspirations and our market realities.
Yeah. So I really love this, man. So this is definitely the way I guess startups look at it, but just applying this I guess viewpoint to your own career. So assets is the things you have right now. So the best ideas are the ones that build on your existing assets. So building on your assets might look like something, learning Ruby programming or something that's building an asset. So you strengthen your assets by investing in yourself, and that's what this book is all about. Yeah,
that's it. Just learning those new skills and constantly, as he says, permanent beta, constantly improving things. And so he says that the soft assets are the things you can't trade directly for money. So that's the intangible things. So it's like any knowledge and information, connections and network, any skills you've mastered, your reputation, your personal brand, your strengths. And then the hard assets are the things like the cash in your wallet, stocks you own, any physical possessions. So anything that has a direct link that could be sold for cash potentially.
Yeah, phenomenal. Aspirations and values. So for a startup, a compelling vision that acts as a North Star is a meaningful piece of a company's competitive advantage. So knowing that what you as a person are all about and what you value and the change you want to bring in the world is super important. And a really good thing he says here is you remake yourself as you grow and the world changes. So your identity doesn't get found, it emerges. So a lot of people go out there looking for themselves, but it's what actions you take in your career is what forms your identity.
Yeah, nice. Man, I had that bit highlighted as well. He basically says just accept that uncertainty, especially early on. And then early on, you're not going to know, like you might have a bit of an idea as to your aspirations and values, but the more you do, the more it sort of things click into place and it starts to make more sense, and then it emerges as the world changes and as you grow and stuff.
Yeah.
So the next one is the market reality. So obviously it's good you've got your assets and you've got your aspirations and values, but then obviously it has to fit into some kind of market reality.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what your vision is and what assets you are. If you're in a dying piece of shit industry, you need to get the fuck out. So there are always industries with momentum. So you need to put yourself in a position to ride these waves.
Yeah. And he says that entrepreneurs are dreamers. And remember, we're all entrepreneurs and we're treating our career as though we're an entrepreneur. And he says that, yes, they're dreamers, but they're also firmly grounded in what's available and what's possible right now. And so he's just saying that those, you can have whatever dreams you want, but the ones that are going to work are the ones that are founded in market realities. What do people want right now?
Yeah, phenomenal. The next part was plan to adapt, and at the start it has a crack at 7 habits of highly effective people. So
that one's done.
Bit of another dagger to your heart, Ashton. But
mate, you also had to dig at what colour is your parachute, which we've got the bookshelf to do soon as well.
Yeah, I know. But I think, what do you reckon? It
makes sense. Basically, you said that so one of the habits was begin with the end in mind, which when we're reading 7 habits makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
and but he's saying here that having a 10-year vision or having a 40-year plan is just bullshit.
Yeah, so 7 habits, it says, picture your actions now in the context of your funeral. So look at yourself as if you're on your deathbed and what people are going to talk about you. But he says that is okay in a world that's static, but we're not in a static world anymore. So everything's always changing, and you really don't know where you're going to be in 3 years. So the best way to look at it is to have a vision and know what you're all about, but at the same time having the flexibility to pivot in new directions as new opportunities emerge.
Yep.
I guess the changing world that we're in right now. Yeah,
exactly. In that we might have these massive grand visions right now that in 30 years we want to achieve this, but in 30 years' time, if we look back, that the game will have completely changed and probably won't be worth shooting for in the end. So
he says, have a plan and stay flexible. So do both of these things.
Mate, so I like that. So he calls this ABZ planning, or maybe ABZ if you're in the US. But so you got your plan A, your plan B, and your plan Z. And so basically, plan A is what you think is going to work, what you're doing right now. Plan B is if plan A doesn't quite work, you pivot towards plan B, making a few slight tweaks, and then plan Z is, if all else fails, that's your backup plan.
Yeah, your worst case scenario might be sleeping on your mum's couch or whatever. And if you're in a developed country, your worst case scenario is actually probably not that bad.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, the worst case scenario is probably eating canned spaghetti. And
Yeah, but he does say that you have to have your plan Z there, because if plan A and B fail, if you're in business or in life, you always want to keep playing. So if A and B knocks you out and you don't have a plan Z, and it means you end up homeless on the street, then that was a bad plan.
Yeah. So with plan A, you need to make minor adjustments as you learn. So that's probably your job right now. But a good plan A offers flexibility to pivot to a wide range of plan B. So your plan B is your ability to pivot. So as you learn, and the way to do that, which we'll get into later, is pursuing, I guess, little side projects or side hustles on the side, which I guess increase the opportunities that are going to come your way in the future. Yeah,
I like that you said that a good plan A is one that gives you a wide range of plan Bs. It says that, prioritise learning, especially early on. Most people think that learning finishes when you graduate from college, but he's saying that you need to keep learning, prioritise learning, especially early on, and learn by doing. Take those small, reversible but small bets. So
I guess Reid Hoffman is a very good friend of Sheryl Sandberg. Is she the CEO or CEO of Facebook?
COO of Facebook, and she was at Google before that.
So I guess back on the 7 habits analogy. So for Sheryl, when she started her career, she wanted to help the world. So she started working in India, working for the underprivileged, but with flexibility and ability to pivot, she was able to, I guess, pivot toward the success she has now with Facebook. So, he goes through her story pretty well in the book, which I really liked. But one interesting thing that I guess they go through, if I go through my notes, which I've lost, but when she ended up in Bill Clinton's office, she pivoted there, and then she asked for Eric Schmidt's advice, who was the CEO of Google, what to do. And he said, you need to get out of the weeds and follow the industries with most momentum. So that's someone who, I guess, did the ABZ of planning and stayed flexible, and now she's at Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. And so when should you pivot? And the pivot is either comes when you want to pursue upside or avoid downside. So as you say, if Sheryl Sandberg, she's stuck in the weeds of politics, it's not really growing, whereas the tech industry was growing. So she wanted to pursue that upside of going towards tech rather than getting stuck in the weeds. So that's when you should pivot, is if you got better opportunities coming, or if plan A looks like it's either stalling or going backwards.
Yeah. And an important point here he makes is be personal brand focused and don't put all your identity into your company, because if something fails there, then you'll probably have an identity crisis. So on your LinkedIn or everything like that, have everything about your personal brand and build that, so then you can take that brand to other companies, and that's where your value is, and not just at your current company. Yeah,
exactly. You want to remove your identity from your current job and your current company, because otherwise, that's no good. I like to, just to hit that again, what you said, that, most people think that, especially early on, jobs require experience, but how do you get the experience if you don't get the job? So he says the best way, I think you mentioned before, is to start it on the side. Yep. And the same with pivoting. If you want to make slight pivots, start doing it on the side. Do it on the weekends. Do it at night. Just, start having a crack at some of those smaller projects on the side.
Yeah. The next part of the book, so I thought that part, that first section we just covered is like by far the best career advice. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal.
Those couple of chapters are my favourite for sure.
Yeah. So the next part of the book, it goes more about into the networking part and the importance of having a team to go after what you're trying to create in the world.
Yeah, he says that no matter how brilliant your mind or strategy, if you're playing a solo game, you'll always lose to a team.
Yeah.
So it's all about building up that network, finding good people to be around, people that are going to give you the opportunities, people you can share your opportunities with.
So he uses the concept I to the power of we. So obviously the I is important, but you kind of have that multiplier effect or the compound effect with the network around you. So it's the power of we. If you've got an incredible, strong network, whoever you are will be multiplied by a significant amount.
Yeah, that's it. He says I versus we is a false choice. You have to have both. You need to have a good, strong I, and you need to have a good, strong we as well.
So with that, he goes into, again, I guess the 7 habits kind of way, and that's all about thinking win-win and looking to proactively find ways you can collaborate and provide value for other people, or where you can find the benefit for yourself. So the mutual, finding the actions where you get the mutual benefits with people.
Yeah, and he talks about how you need to find not only those personal relationships, but also professional relationships. He says you might have your personal guys, like you might have friends from school that you're really good friends with, but they're on a completely different career trajectory in different industries. So whilst they're good personal friends, they might not be that important professionally. He says you might have your people you go to the pub with. I don't know if he said that, but he talks about playing online poker with. But basically you need to find those professional relationships and build genuine relationships. Don't just think, how can this person help me? Think, how can we have a genuine relationship? Help them first, and they can help you later.
Yeah, that's right. He drops Robert Greene here as well. So again, professionally, and if anyone's worked in a big corporate, there's some huge power games that people play. So there's a lot of people who are, you're going to be very aware of the social dynamics of, I guess,
48 laws of power,
corporate cultures, and like the 48 laws of power. So you got to account for the insecurities, status, anxieties, and egos of everyone else. So, I guess read the book of 48 Laws of Power, or listen to our episode on that. Yeah,
definitely. Mate, the other thing he says I liked in this chapter, he says that most people think, if I need to be going networking, they think, I need to be going to events and meeting new people. But he says that our current relationships, the people that we already know, we're probably underutilizing it. So he says you can start by strengthening your existing network, building more professional allies within that existing network, helping people you already know more, and that's a good way to grow your network, because they've obviously got their own network that you could tap into later.
Yeah. Another important concept in this chapter on networking, I guess, is when to let go. So he says friendships depend on shared passions and values, and at the same time your own attitudes and values and interests are evolving. So as you're getting older, I guess the people who you grow up with, you're going to kind of veer away from, and over time you're going to, it's not delete them like you would on a hard drive, but you're going to let them fade. And it's a natural evolution of some relationships, and it's possible to reactivate these relationships at a later time when your values are aligned.
You've only got so much time, and you need to invest time into relationships. So at some point you're going to hit that max, and you need to delete some to add new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
breakouts.
breakout. So chapter 5 is breakout. Pursue breakout opportunities. So, which you kind of touched on at the start. So you got to pursue these like side projects or side bets with limiting the downside, but going hard at the potential upsides.
Yeah, most people think that it's sort of almost like a linear progression, that over time you're going to keep going up. But Reed says it's sort of almost flat, and then you hit a breakout opportunity which spikes up really high, and then you hit another plateau which is flat, and then the next breakout you spike up again.
Yeah.
So you need to be finding those. He says it's a bit of specific projects, connections, experiences, and a little bit of luck usually lead to that rapid breakout career growth in one hit.
Yeah. So a career move that makes you feel a little over your head and stretches you to new dimensions usually contains this significant upside, which might have be the breakout opportunity.
Mate, the bit I liked here, Seth Godin talks about if people ask him, how do you have more good ideas? He says, well, start having more bad ideas. And he talks about here, how can you... The way to ensure that lucky things happen to you is to make sure that a lot of things happen to you. Yeah. So keep trying things, keep doing more things, put yourself out there, try new projects, meet new people, and the more things you do, the more chance you have of one of them getting lucky.
Yeah. So yeah, opportunities at the same time will not just fall on your lap. So every case of opportunity involves doing something.
Yeah.
So if you don't do anything, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Doing a lot of things and throwing a bit of shit against the wall, it seems like he advocates.
Yeah, and he says that they come and go. Like if an opportunity pops up, you got to take that action. If you don't, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, just finally on that, he says, great opportunities never fit your schedule. So in addition to being inconvenient, that opportunity will be shrouded with ambiguity and uncertainty.
Yeah, nice.
So I guess you
chip away at it.
I guess it's just being prepared to pivot when something comes and don't be too fixed with what you're trying to do.
Yeah, nice. The next chapter was about risk. And he's saying that most people perceive risk, we need to take intelligent risks. Most people see risk as bad, but he says that short-term risk increases long-term stability. By something risky short-term means down the track, you're going to be a lot better prepared for whatever comes next.
Yeah, so some of those risks might be something like freelancing on the side of your day-to-day job comes with the risk that your job will suffer. But he says the inaction is the most risky thing in a changing world, which is, very good point.
Yeah, nice. He says if you don't find risk will find you.
And one part of this risk chapter, which I really like, says pre-committing to 4... So if someone wanted to do that extra study and maybe go down the track to university for another 4 years, pre-committing to 4 years of your life at maybe another university degree might be actually riskier, the riskiest career choice you could do, as opposed to being in permanent beta and permanently changing in from job to job, I guess, and pivoting around. And then you can pivot again if things don't go well. But the commitment to a 4-year study is probably the riskiest in a changing world.
Too late for me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Mate, and the final chapter was who you know is what you know. So this is, again, emphasising how strong and how important the network is.
Yep, so how you gather, manage and use information will determine whether you win or lose, which is very Think and Grow Rich-esque, I think.
Yeah, and he talks about how you need 3 different groups of people, I guess. You need domain experts, so people who are really good at the topics that you want to pursue. You need 2 people who know you well, so... it could be personal relationships, people who know you really well and know what you want to do, know where you want to go. And the third group is just really smart people.
Yeah.
So, they're
definitely
the 3 sort of people you need.
Mate, so that's about it for me. But I think that was such a bloody good book.
Yeah, man, I agree. He just, in the conclusion, just said we're all born entrepreneurs, but it doesn't guarantee that we're going to live like one. Yeah. So we need to take control of our life, apply entrepreneurial skills to what we're doing. And that's the best way to tackle your career. Mate,
for me, it was almost like a relief to realise you don't have to have these 10-year, 20-year or 30-year plans, because I've never really quite got it. But I guess what he breaks down here and being in permanent beta and being able to pivot as everything evolves is such good advice, I think. Such a huge takeaway.
I like that to get experiences, to do the things on the side that you want to do, because it's so hard to get a job without experience. So you have to he's saying just create your own experience basically by doing it yourself.
Yeah, just be proactive. So, mate, Reed, he's good. He's a good
Reed,
dude.
Read the
Hoff,
read.
He's a weapon, isn't he?
He's a weapon.
He's a fucking weapon, that boy.
Start of a View by Reid Hoffman and Ben Casnocha.
Don't know. But I hopped on the escalator 60 years ago. It was a nice smooth ride. Got to the top and I hipped up. Now I'm in retirement. Oh yeah!
But the escalator's broken. You can't get off the top. And that means no people can get on the bottom. That means you're stuck in the middle. You're stuck in the top. You're stuck in the bottom. You're stuck.
You're stuck. You're pretty much fucked. You're fucked. What about now?
Develop a competitive advantage. Build your assets, aspirations, and find them all realities.
Oh yeah, just invest in yourself. Invest in yourself.
Plan to adapt. Plan A. Plan B. Plan Z.
Gotta learn to pivot, you gotta know when to stay. Gotta learn to pivot to a new industry.
Almost ready. Aim fire, aim fire, aim fire, aim fire, aim fire.
Bang! Nailed it. Nailed it.
To the power of we. Build and strengthen your existing network.
Let go of the old friends who are doing shit. Not doing shit, not doing shit, not doing shit for you.
Pursue those breakout opportunities. Do stuff on the side, build your own side projects. Start some online courses on side projects.
Side hustle. Just hustle on the side. Get that new pivot. It's gonna get better, everybody. It's gonna get better. Oh, it's gonna get better on the side. Do that shit on the side projects. On the side.